It's entertaining for us to watch.
Congratulations.
Complimenti.
That is absolutely fantastic. Now, we heard from Lando before the race. He said, look, it's not going to be as straightforward as Hungary was. It's going to be a tough challenge.
Yeah.
And it certainly was that.
And he was.
But unbelievable, race. He put a lot of it down to strategy thanks to the pit wall. What do you make of it all?
I think Lando was right when he said it's not going to be straightforward. I think the race pace in Hungary was more convincing. Here, if we look back at the sprint race, we were not the fastest car. Ferrari, I think, was the fastest car. All teams are very close. I think we have a great Formula One, honestly, and it's good that McLaren is part of the cars that can fight for the win. I would like to thank and praise the team and the drivers, because after the sprint, we made some tweaks to the car. We adjusted some aspects of the driving style, of the way we could use the tires in the race, and I think this paid off. So a deserved victory from this point of view, thanks to the work that improved the situation from where we were in the sprint.
But that pace also from Lando at the end of the race there on the hard tire, unbelievable. I mean, he was rapid, phenomenal, no?
Well, we know that Lando, when we have these tires that actually don't have as much grip, is when I think he expresses his best talent compared to other drivers. So the tires today were a little tricky. We saw with Antonelli, we saw with the second stint of Oscar.
Experience yesterday, I mean, we heard from Antonelli's team radio, they were telling him to push a little bit, and he couldn't. His tires were just losing out. So was that the moment for you to get Lando to put as much pressure so that he just was not in a position to manage his tires?
Yeah, I feel, like I said before, the tires, they were not straightforward this weekend. Some teams were very good on softs. I think we were a little bit better on the hard tires, and at times the tires could just go off completely, like it happened in the second stint for Oscar. So it was difficult to understand. I think Lando probably he just did a better job than anybody else from this point of view, and he deserved the victory.
Is it game on for the Drivers' Championship here? I mean, Lando is closer to Antonelli than Max was to Lando last year. I mean, it's still possible. And is your rate of improvement going to continue like this? This is going to be an exciting last part of the season, no?
You said not to ask them questions like this.
Sorry about that. I apologize.
I trust your excitement, Nico. Like I actually don't even know how far behind we are, because
83 points.
Okay, 83.
Now you know.
And before we fill this gap, we have to have so many of these good weekends. Then I'd rather at the moment focus on executing good weekends and bringing more upgrades to the car. And then after some of that, if we are able to, then we will look where we are in the championship. But Antonelli so far is very deservedly leading the championship. Mercedes very deservedly leading the constructors. We have to do a little bit more to give them a fight.
Let me translate that for the fans. Yes, we're going for that Drivers' Championship.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll take you as my communication advisor.
Andrea, thank you very much for your time
problem.
and
Thanks,
congratulations.
everyone.
And those
All the best.
upgrades coming from McLaren. Ominous news for the competition. Right.
So, Toto, double podium, that must feel like a relief looking at how the end of the race may have shaped.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seemed that we had the pace to win the race, but then for unclear reasons, we lost so much performance on both cars, probably even more on Kimi, and then couldn't hold the position to Norris. So finishing second and third is a damage limitation, I would say. We had a free stop with Kimi, team internal free stop, and George was incredible at the end, also fighting and fending off the Ferraris, who were on a much newer tyre with a quicker car. Was really, really exceptional.
So, talking about that, the free stop for Kimi, like you say, how difficult a decision is that to say, we're going to protect from Ferrari, give up the position to Russell and maybe deal with it internally as a team later? How difficult is that on the pit wall?
I think that looks difficult on the outside, but not on the inside. It's a situation we discussed very often. Also today in the morning, we're not going to lose time fighting with each other and have two Ferraris breathing down our neck. So it would have been the other way around, exactly the same. Plays no role who is ahead in a championship or not. It's just about protecting the best possible positions.
And obviously at the end there from the radio comms, George was sort of pushing for either Kimi to stay behind and help hold the position, or not accelerate off into the distance and help hold the position. What was the consideration from the pit wall on that, or did you think you could have got Norris without the VSC?
No, I don't think that Norris was anywhere near of catching. It was just the safest way in terms of scoring points. You could have played maybe leaving him in the overtake mode, but then again you're risking too much. You have two Ferraris all over you. So yeah, it was some tough calls, but they need to be done when you want to fight for a constructor and driver championship.
So happy it'll be all friends indoors in the debrief later?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is how we are operating. Both drivers know that. We avoid situations like some of our other teams where it's not clearly talked like this. And again, you know, this is harsh times. There's 2,500 people that work for championships, and it's not a one man's game. But that's how we operated the last 15 years.
Thank you very much, Toto. Enjoy the celebrations.
I had to let Lewis pass once in Monaco, even though we were fighting for the championship against each other. Here, the same situation. The team result was under threat by the two Ferraris behind, so you have to apply team orders, and they have to follow them. And I think it was fair play. And George did a fantastic job, though, to hold on to that third place.
I mean, he really did. He defended like crazy, didn't he? But if there wasn't a realistic chance of Antonelli catching Norris, then you know, I know hindsight's a wonderful thing, but George pointed out there that actually they could have thrown away a double podium in that moment.
No, sure, but George was the expectation at the time was that George was really going to struggle with pace, and that the Ferraris will therefore threaten not only his position but also Kimi Antonelli's position if Kimi is stuck behind George. So it really risks both positions at the same time. So it's a tough one. It's really a horrible decision to make. I would not want to be in their position. And for George, if I was in George's place, it would hurt so much. It would be a disaster. But it's somewhat understandable because I do know the team rules very precisely.
You certainly do.
Everybody has to follow them.
If anyone knows, it's you. Naomi, what did you make of it all?
Well, look, at the end of the day, Kimi and a few others opted for a fresher set. George and Norris opted to have track position, and that was the risk that they kind of took. So Antonelli was quicker throughout the race. He was dominating as opposed to his teammate. And there, as Nico was pointing out, unfortunately, if George would not have conceded his position, then they could have really been putting both of themselves under pressure. You know, you've got to let Antonelli get through on that fresh set of tyre and go and see if maybe he could even have gone and chased for Norris. So, I think the team made the right call. Of course, as a driver, it's a tough pill to swallow. That's not the radio call you ever want to hear, but I think he'll understand. And if the tables are ever turned, he's going to expect the same thing, and the team will deliver the same thing.
Goes against every fibre of your being, doesn't it? I'm sure it's tough. But I mean, when you consider that Lewis was bearing down, I mean, they went onto the softs. The sun is right in my face here. Sorry, I can't quite see you. But when you consider that they didn't opt to go in and change their tyres and others did, does it make it all the more impressive that the fact that Lando didn't lose any of his lead?
No, I even expected that maybe they could still threaten Lando for the win with those soft tyres. But Lando's pace on those hards, he was 7 or 8 tenths a lap quicker than George, you know, in a similar situation. And so Lando was like absolutely flying out there. It was unbelievable, the speed there. And I think Mercedes is going to be worried now by this pace from McLaren, because they're the team to beat now, and they've been developing their car faster than anybody else also. This could be a really tough end to the season for Mercedes.
Yeah, really.
Well, Max, good to see you're okay, because it looked quite a sharp impact, that one. What happened? Did you recce that line on your way to the grid? Was it a bit of a surprise, that curve, or what?
I mean, it was of course still quite wet in that corner. But as soon as I was going through the corner, at one point I could see a little bit of a dry line coming. And I thought from this point on I could accelerate again up. But it suddenly, of course, then accelerated a lot. And it caught me out. Simple as that. Tried to correct it, but couldn't. And then, of course, you hit the wall. But honestly, it could have been, of course, a lot worse because there were a lot of cars behind me as well. But luckily, that all went well.
Listen, you've made so many great memories here. You're the reason we've all come here. Maybe you didn't have the car to do anything too special today. Where are you as a team sort of leaving here, looking at the final portion of the season?
I mean, if you look on average the whole season, we have been fourth fastest. So I think this weekend really highlighted that. So we definitely, we're a little bit behind. We want to, of course, be closer. Maybe Monza we are, but I don't know. I mean, there's, of course, we're getting towards the end of the season. You also have to look at next year. I think there are a few things in the car that we are looking at that can only be changed next year, but, you know, to really find a lot more performance. So we will just try to maximize everything we can with this car. But of course, it's not going to be, let's say, the most straightforward end to the season. But we'll try to do the best we can.
Thank you. Any quibbles about that if we talk about that penalty in the first case?
I mean, honestly, I have absolutely no idea what happened. I think it was a yellow flag. I think it must have been Ocon. But when I got the yellow, I feel like I was like next to around his car. Like I didn't see it before. So yeah, not my intention, but I obviously didn't slow down enough. So I'll learn from that. It's not ideal. Yeah.
Overall, how much have you enjoyed this experience? Not an easy adaptation, and you've made a success of it, and seem to race with a lot of confidence today and good battles.
Yeah, it's been I mean, today was hard, honestly. The first lap was quite fun, but from then, honestly, we just struggled for pace to match the front guys at least. But I feel like after yesterday, I knew it was going to be a hard race. We were both behind them, and I feel like I did a pretty good lap yesterday. So yeah, I knew it was going to be hard. Probably not that hard. Like we really struggled to keep up with the front teams, but I'm sure there's stuff I can learn from it. I'll obviously try and have an understanding after the weekend. Thank you.
So, Laurent, obviously a very interesting race, good and bad from your side with that early retirement from Verstappen, but positive for Liam Lawson, really.
You know, it's so difficult nowadays to jump from a team to another. So I think Liam did what he could. He obviously did a very good job in qualifying yesterday, being only a tenth away from Max. Today he was a bit on the race on his own. We are missing the reference from Max. So you know, no judgment on the pace, but you know, he took the points. He took the points of the 7th place, and that's probably the best he could have done today.
And I guess what I should have started with, I assume Max is all okay, no injuries, said he was okay getting out of the car?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Max is all right, and he will be able to be in the car next week.
And then finally for me, when I look at Liam Lawson's strategy, obviously we were unsure whether it was going to be a 1 or a 2 stop. Degradation looked quite high. But the only team I think out there that didn't run the hard tyre, anything you want to give us on that?
Yeah, I mean, there was no real discussions about 1 or 2 stops. It was quite clear for us that it will be a 2 stops, and we felt that the tires were quite similar from what you could see from competition. So we decided to stick with the medium.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was Liam Lawson's 7th consecutive points finish this season and his first ever points for Red Bull. So that's a decent day at the office, isn't it?
Yeah, I think for him, he did as much as he could do. He showed great pace in qualifying. And
P4 and P5, I guess you maybe think that more was on the cards without that final VSC.
Yeah, the pace was decent in the race, that we had some issue with execution, that we had a poor start with Charles on the second start. We lost position on Piastri, who was with hard, and we lost a lot of time at this stage of the race. And then we had a poor pit stop with Charles, and we lost again a position. It's a kind of confusion, and it's a bit of a shame because I think the pace was strong. I think at least stronger than Mercedes. But it is like it is that we have to now to have a deep look on what we did and what we did wrong, to understand why we lost the position on the start with soft, and to try to do better next week.
So obviously the start's one thing, but in like effectively the second stint, when you decided to pit Charles first and Lewis had a bit of a tyre offset and they closed position through that stint, was there any thought of using Charles to try and undercut Russell, or you were trying to continue to extend?
See, but we had a group of people in our shadow, and we are trying to clear this group. And there was another group in front, and at the end we took an option, but the car in front pitted like Ocon, Lindblad, and so, and we gave it to Russell like this.
And do you think some difficult discussions in the debrief, or do you think when you sit down with your drivers afterwards, you know, Lewis, we heard unhappy on the radio with the time loss with Charles, but you think all is okay?
See, but the story with Lewis was that at one stage we are trying to go to the end, and I think it would have been a good call also. But okay, perhaps that we lost 1 second with Charles. That the target when you go to the end, it's not this one, and for sure with what's happened after, you can always rewrite the race, but I know that we'll have an explanation, but it will be an easy one.
Lots of luck, I'm sure, for you in the debrief, Fred. Thank you.
Charles, it was a complicated strategic race. At that point, with 3/4 distance, when you and Lewis were kind of together, were you hoping to stay out a bit longer to create more of an offset on tyres?
Yeah, I didn't really understand why we had to box so close to George's pit stop, because that really was kind of signing to finishing behind George, because with a 2 or 3 laps difference, for me there wasn't much I could have done, and felt like there was a bit more in my tires. Obviously Lewis and I were on different strategies at that point, but I felt that what was right was staying a bit longer on track. But at the end of the day, is the way it is. I think we got mostly a little bit unlucky with the virtual safety car timing, and most importantly, I don't think we did a good job yesterday in qualifying, and we paid the price of it by starting further down.
Okay, it's Monza next, and Kimi's got an engine penalty maybe. So, with the race pace you've showed, can you hope to really, well, maybe challenge for the win? I mean, that has to be the ambition.
Well, I really hope so, but. I mean, obviously, Monza is extremely special as a Ferrari driver, and for Kimi as well, I'm sure. But I don't really know what to expect. If I look at Silverstone and Spa, on paper, it was kind of like Monza, where we expected to struggle and we were a lot stronger than what we expected. I hope that happens again the same in Monza, but if you ask me as of now, I will tell you it's probably going to be a difficult weekend. But we'll have some upgrades, and I hope it will work.
Thank you. Well, Lewis, tremendous pace from you today, and it looked like you might just grab a podium right at the end. A lot of things went right. Just that moment in the final third when maybe Charles just blunted, took a little edge off you. So maybe 1 or 2 things still to work on team-wise.
Yeah, firstly, I think the team, the guys in the garage did a fantastic job with pit stops. Strategy was generally very, very good. The car felt awesome, and they've worked so hard to continue to put a bit of an upgrade here. We're just chipping away at it all the time. We're losing still, this first half of the season we've been losing, 3 to 5 tenths on the straight, depending on which track we go to, and that's meant that's a hard deficit to overcome just through corners. But we're close. But today was definitely frustrating for me. I'm here to win, and I really believe that this team can win. Whether or not we couldn't win this race, but to win championships, you have to pick up every point. And the last few races have been difficult with penalties and stuff. And then today, I lost several seconds behind Charles, which I think ultimately probably would have made the difference at the end. So, but we'll take it offline. And my goal is to try and lead this team to the top, to the championship. And we've got some work to do for sure.
Is there a bit of a now or never feel about Monza? Kimi picking up some more strong points here, but he does have the engine penalty there that you've kind of got to go there and win, which would be quite something if you can.
Yeah, we need in Monza. We definitely need to hit the ground running and perfect execution. So I really hope that we can. I hope our pace is a little bit better in Monza. I hope that's a place. I hope that we are able to do well, to go to Monza as a Ferrari driver and hopefully be fighting towards the front. It will be something special.
Well, Fernando, 2 hard-won points today. Credit to your determination and maybe the good strategy, but would it have been possible without the upgrade that came?
No, for sure. Congratulations to the team. I think they brought a package in Budapest, more new parts here in Zandvoort, and the results are coming. This is not Formula One. It's not a mysterious sport. You have to bring performance and outperform competitors to score points, and is what we are doing. So congratulations everyone in Silverstone, and hopefully we can bring more. We can use this motivation and this momentum, into the next few races and keep learning about the package.
Can you tell us what's not quite there yet with the power unit in terms of drivability? Is there any detail you can share?
No, I think there is nothing really specific, to comment. I think it's in general we're still not in the place we want to be in terms of drivability. The downshifts, engine braking seems a little bit random, corner by corner. So these kind of things that we still need to fine tune. And the deficit on power, we still lose, a lot on the straights. So now that we are more or less competitive in the corners, we need to improve that. But we are trying to do all this together. We need to give time to Honda as well to figure out what is the problem and where to fix it. So I'm happy. I'm relaxed. I trust both Silverstone and Sakura.
Great work, Nico, to get some points on the board, and I imagine in that moment when you avoided your teammate right at the early stages, that must have been a heart in your mouth moment.
It was, yeah, scary, sketchy. Even you're a passenger to some sort. Try to react as late as possible, and then just instinctively, chose the side. Obviously, was waiting to see if he's going to slide up or down. On a wet track, it's sketchy and difficult, but luckily we managed to avoid that.
And can you kind of put into words like how important it is to be scoring, for this team at the minute? It's really competitive in the midfield. So the result race you put together was so important.
Yeah, super important for us, for the team in the championship. But for the mood, gives everyone a lift. It confirms the work that we've put in, that we're in the right direction. So very, very pleased about it. Also for me personally, it wasn't the easiest kind of weekends yesterday and Friday. So. Feels very nice and sweet to come away with something at the end and on a good note.
Great stuff. Thanks, Nico.
Well, Oscar, it was a kind of race, good in parts. It's a couple of nice overtakes. The slow pit stop hurt you a little bit. Ultimately, how do you assess things?
Disappointing, obviously. I think the first lap was good, or after the red flag was good, and then the first stint felt okay, and then after that I just had nothing. So I don't know why, but plenty to look into.
Yeah, just struggling with a certain tyre, or what particularly was not there for you? Can you
pace? I don't really have any more answers than that at the moment.
Yeah. But at least the team are bringing upgrades and they're working. So you hope things will move on in a more positive vein for you.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so. But at the moment it's been pretty challenging.
Thank you. Orlando, great win, great strategy. You've missed the press conference, but listen, was the move on Antonelli, the way you chose your moment, was that reflective of you driving as a world champion? As I know you feel you've driven so well this year.
First of all, thank you. That's your decision to make. I'm certainly not going to go around telling people that, but I drive to the best I can. I know I have to make good decisions at times. Today was certainly a day I made a lot of good decisions, from strategy, tyre saving, picking my moments, knowing when to push, when to save. There's a lot that goes on in the cockpit of a race car. It's not just push flat out every single lap to the maximum. So this was certainly my winning move, the winning moment in the race. I'm not sure if I would have won if I didn't get ahead of Kimi here. So my one opportunity, I made the most of it, and I won the race because of that. So I think I maximized my race today. I made the most of it. I certainly made my life tough today with a bad start, and we need to understand what happened. But we did the job we came in to do, which is to win. So I'm very pleased.
My maths is better this week. I think you're 83 points behind now. But listen, Antonelli has an engine penalty in Monza. I mean, can you make it interesting at least? Can you keep this run going? Maybe apply a bit of pressure in the final third of the season.
We're doing everything we can. I can only ask for so much. I clearly have a very, very strong car now, and it's been amazing. And I'm very pleased and happy for the team to see how much progress we've made. We've improved over a second comparing to the beginning of the year, comparing to our competitors. We've probably brought even more performance to ourselves this year. So, I'm very happy with the car. If you want me to be confident, and if you want me to say, I can still fight for a championship, I need more than what I have now. And that's not to say I'm not pleased that I can win a race here and win in Budapest, but I know what's needed in a season. I know what kind of a car I need. I know to the level I need to perform at. I feel like I'm doing a very good job, and the team is doing an incredible job. But you can't ever relax in a situation like this, and we need to improve still in some certain areas for me to be confident in the rest of the season. So I'll make sure the team know that after this in the debrief, and Yeah, very pleased, but no, there's a lot of work ahead and still a long season to go.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
What about Monza? How are they going to get on there? Because it's a weekend after next. I mean, it's a great place to go racing, isn't it?
I mean, Monza will favor the best powertrain, which is the Mercedes engine. They have the most power on average per lap, and that's also a little bit of the weakness of the Ferraris. So it's gonna favor them. But we've seen surprises. You know, we saw in Silverstone that suddenly the Ferrari was massively quick there, which surprised everybody. So I think we need to really be open-minded and it's a bit unsure what's going to happen in Monza.
Yeah, well, because Kimi Antonelli is looking like taking a penalty for his engine, but a Ferrari win in Italy is always something magical, isn't it?
Yeah, a Ferrari win in Italy or a Kimi Antonelli win. I think there's lots. I think it's going to be a massive Italian Grand Prix. I think Ferrari have better performance than they've had in most recent years. Both drivers thereabouts. So I think that is will have a real festival atmosphere to it for sure. I think that we're expecting the Mercedes car, like Nico says, to be a bit stronger, even with the penalties. Overtaking's possible there, so it's going to be a really interesting race to get on top of.
Kimi Antonelli has already become such a national hero there that, from what I hear, because I speak Italian, I think it would mean more to the tifosi. They're such fans of him that it would mean more to them if their young 19-year-old national hero would win. Both is, of course, huge for them.
Yeah.
But Kimi is huge in Italy. Yeah. Every single Italian is cheering for him now. It's insane.
It's an incredible place. My enduring memory of it is being on the podium with you. I mean, it's the best podium in the world, isn't it? Particularly when you're on the top step.
Yeah, it's one of the best in the world. It's so special to see 100,000 or 50,000 tifosi down the pit straight. You know, everybody there. It's unreal.
Fantastic stuff. And it's been just a great weekend here in Zandvoort. The last Dutch Grand Prix. It feels quite emotional. What's been your highlight?
My highlight always is the Dutch Grand Prix, and it's actually from years and years ago. Has been walking in with all those fans. There's such a big celebration. I think this weekend the highlight has been we went into that race we just didn't know. Exciting when we just can't pick who the winner is going to be in advance.
Okay.
Monza?
Your highlight here.
Oh, highlight here.
Because we're saying goodbye to Zandvoort.
Yes, it's been a great pleasure.
It really has. It really has.
And my highlight will be Lando Norris overtake round the outside.
Yeah.
That was magical.
And actually, the Japanese we had last night with Corinne was pretty good.
Nothing to do with...
This is a highlight of Zandvoort in Holland.
It was great food. Well done, Corinne, as ever. Well, it's been great to have your company. Not long till we go racing again, the 4th to the 6th of September in Monza. But it's ciao for now. Bye-bye.